Oh, it's hot. You don't hear anything. What is up, guys? In this video we're going to be going over how you can achieve that turbo sound with your Duramax. You ready? That is a turbo sound that I am talking about. So let's kind of start with the basics. This video is pretty much piggybacking off of my last video where we talked about what all it takes for these diesel trucks to roll coal / blow black smoke, because that is not normal from the factory. You have to do modifications in order for that to happen. I try to stay on the surface level as much as possible. I didn't want to get too deep with that topic. Essentially, rolling coal is not good for the engine, so if you guys want me to go a little bit deeper and explain why, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be doing another video explaining that. And also, please consider joining our membership program for the channel. I have a lot more in-depth videos posted on that page, as well as we're going to be doing a lot more behind the scenes stuff. All these trucks from the factory don't make a lot of whistling sound, and that was a big misconception. When I bought my LOI Duramax, was driving home, and I was so excited because I finally had a turbo diesel, and I wanted to hear my turbo. You know, that was actually a big factor in me wanting a diesel. Some people think that's stupid, but I thought the turbo whistle sounds, the turbo whistle is what got me hooked. Back then, I believe Street Speed 717 had just gotten his LOI Duramax, and I was watching that channel and watching that build. He had done some modifications to where you can hear the turbo, and it got me hooked. I wanted that turbo whistle, and I had a gas truck, and I would go to all these truck shows and truck meets, and the diesels come in and you just hear that exhaust, and it had me sold. But not only just that, like, I was towing in the summer my 05 Sierra with 6-inch lift and 35s, just didn't have a lot of power, and yeah, I could have re-geared, but that would have been like $2 grand to do, and back then I just didn't have the $2 grand to spend just for it to come in handy when I'm towing only in the summertime. So that was not really an option, and I just wanted something that had more overall power. So that's why I started looking into diesels as well. And honestly, I got really lucky because I really didn't do that much research. I should have done more research before buying that truck, but to me at the time, I had no idea what the differences between LB7, LOI, and LBZs were. To me, they were all new body style, MBS. Some people call it the classic body style. But, you know, back then, I really didn't know any differences. And I got really lucky because I got the 04.5, which is the LOI Duramax. Had I gotten an 04, it would have been LB7, in which the LB7 still has an amazing sound, but it's fixed vane turbo. And I essentially wanted the VGT turbo. That's the sound I wanted. So I would have been pretty disappointed had I gotten the LB7. Didn't get that whistly sound like the VGT turbo. And also, LOI has the biggest factory charger out of all the Duramaxes. So whenever you do this modification that I'm about to tell you guys, it has the loudest turbo whistle out of any Duramaxes with the factory charger. The way I was able to achieve that turbo whistle on my LOI Duramax was simply just doing a straight pipe. These trucks come from the factory, obviously come with a lot smaller diameter exhaust, and also it comes with the catalytic converter and muffler. Newer models come with DPF, and It's crazy how all of that really muffles your sound, in which newer vehicles, one of the goals from OE is that they want to make these vehicles as quiet as possible, because quiet, no sound equals luxury. Automotive junkies, we want our vehicles to be as loud as possible, so we want the opposite. So we get rid of every factory component that muffles the sound. So yeah, these vehicles come with muffler, catalytic converter, and ones come with DPF. Once you get rid of those components and go with a straight pipe exhaust, that actually really opens up and you can hear your turbo way better. I know I've seen on forums, Duramax forums, people asking what muffler should I go with, what muffler is going to give me the best turbo sound, blah blah blah, what's going to make the muffler, what muffler is going to make the truck sound good. And in reality, diesel exhaust is a lot different than gas exhaust. Swapping out the muffler doesn't make the sound that you normally hear from gas vehicles, and honestly, no muffler is the best option for these trucks. So some people, reliability and longevity of the vehicle, they delete diesel trucks. If you're not sure what deleting is, it's just removing all the emissions equipped components, and in order to do that, you got to tune your vehicle, which you get more horsepower out of it and the vehicle does run more efficiently. Some people, that's doing a straight pipe is a little too loud for them, so they add a muffler to muffle that exhaust sound. But swapping out the muffler doesn't actually make the truck any louder. On a gas vehicle, you can do Borla, Flowmaster, Magnaflow, go with all those different exhaust systems and make different sounds. Diesel, simply, you can do what's called a race pipe. You maintain your factory exhaust, but remove the catalytic converter, muffler, and blah blah blah, and just kind of make it one solid tube. Or you can do a 4-inch exhaust or a 5-inch exhaust. Those three are really the three options on diesels. Going back to what I was talking about, my LOI Duramax, I did a 5-inch straight pipe exhaust, and I could not believe how loud the truck was after doing a 5-inch exhaust. I mean, the truck was loud, it rumbled, and it whistled. With the LOI, it doesn't have a DPF and it doesn't use DEF. Only thing emissions related it has would be the EGR. That LOI, you could actually do a 5-inch exhaust without having to tune your vehicle. That's kind of the beauty of older diesels. Nowadays, if you buy an LML Duramax, if you want to do a straight pipe, you have to tune it. You have to get off-road tunes. It bypasses the emission system on your computer, so that way the truck doesn't throw a code, tricks the system. I actually put a blocker plate on my LOI as well, because I didn't want the emissions gas recirculating back into my engine. So I simply put a blocker plate, and that also didn't throw a check engine light either. So like I said, that's kind of the beauty of these LOIs and the LBZ and the LB7s. Cool, so that's step one. Now, I was able to make the turbo whistle a little bit louder by doing the following. Remove the resonator. Look at the mouthpiece, this one, versus the stock one. Look at the diameter on it. And look how just restrictive this one is compared to this one. And I put a cold air intake. Not world of difference like going from a factory exhaust to a 5-inch straight pipe, but they do help. One of the things I really noticed, especially with my new LOI Duramax that I'm giving away at 100,000 subscribers, was that, you know, I had already upgraded the turbo to a 64mm Ryan's Diesel Services turbo. That truck already screamed, and it was already freaking loud. When I went with HSP piping on the LOI Duramax, I knew the truck was going to be louder, but the truck was already loud. However, oh my gosh, that HSP piping, because the diameter is bigger, going from plastic to aluminum slash metal, it made that turbo sound just way more crisp and a lot louder. We just talked about how you gotta get rid of catalytic converter, DPF, and all that stuff. Essentially, we have to have a straight pipe to hear your turbo. So it's a lot easier, like I said, with the LB7, LOY, and LBZ. But with the newer trucks, starting in 08 or 07 and a half with LMM, LML, and the L5P, it's a little bit more different. What I mean by that, in order to straight pipe, you now have to bypass some of the emissions. In the past, it was easier to be able to obtain those tunes, mainly because you were able to just kind of sign a waiver that says this vehicle is off-road use only, and you were able to buy those tunes. However, with the EPA cracking down and they're trying to force the electric vehicles, it's getting harder and harder to buy off-road tunes. So they're going after tuners, so tuners are no longer making off-road tunes. And even some of the tuners that are left, you kind of have to know people to buy those tunes. And there are several tuners left, especially in Canada. But now the thing is, dealers are afraid to sell tunes to your everyday consumers. Obtaining those hard parts, even getting 5-inch exhaust, 4-inch exhaust, straight pipe, is getting harder and harder every day, just for your diesel, just because of the EPA cracking down, and they're finding stupid amounts of money for selling these devices that defeat the emission system. So it sucks, but that's just the way everything's going. So a lot of tuners going emissions compliant. In order to do a straight pipe, you have to bypass emission system that's in the exhaust. EPF, DEF, those usually all have sensors. And so if you remove the sensors, it's going to throw a code. The truck's going to be in a limp mode. So you can't really drive your truck. So you have to have off-road tunes, delete tunes, bypass, and tricking your vehicle into thinking that everything is where it should be. So yes, if you have a newer truck and you want to hear that turbo sound, essentially you have to tune and delete. And I guess at this, some people get confused, because how do I still have my EGR and how is that deleting? You can leave your EGR, but for the most part, these tunes, these delete tunes, will actually shut off the EGR function. So the valves will be closed and it will no longer be working. The emission system, such as EGR, you can leave it. However, you're getting rid of all the other emissions components. As you guys will see right here, that turbo intake that Lisa is powder coating, that is for the L5P Duramax. We do have polished ones available on our website. That will make your stock turbo a little bit louder, but if your truck is deleted, if your L5P is deleted, it will make that factory turbo whistle way louder. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out on our website. I'll put the link in the comments below that's pinned. This video kind of helped you guys out. I would say most of you guys watching this video knew this answer, but I know there's a lot of people out there who don't. Also, let me know in the comments below what other topic we should touch on so we can make a video about it.